explain to you exactly what it means when a child tantrums based on Dan Siegel's handy brain model. So Dan Siegel is a parenting expert, and he has what's called the handy brain model. So he uses his hand, just to simplify the explanation now for the purpose of this video, he uses his hand, and he says that there are two parts to the brain. So we have, he puts his thumb kind of in the middle and then covers the thumb with the four fingers. And he says that this is what's called our prefrontal cortex. So that's right up here. That's kind of what's right behind our forehead. And the prefrontal cortex, or the thinking brain, is where we get to think things through, where we have reasoning, and we have executive function, and we make decisions. All of that good stuff happens up here in our prefrontal cortex. And generally speaking, that's where we operate from. That's kind of what we're using in our day-to-day. Then we have what's called the emotional brain, or the limbic brain, which is kind of, my watch is in the way, but which is probably back here in the back of our head. And that's where emotion lies. And so when we have a lot of emotion that we're experiencing, it kind of bubbles up into our limbic brain until we finally have too much of it and we just can't handle it anymore. And then he says what happens is that we flip our lids. So a lot of emotion coming up, too much for us to handle, we're getting to the breaking point, and then finally, boom, we flip our lids. Okay, we see this on the road a lot with road rage. Sometimes we wonder how people can get so enraged like that while they flip their lid. So when we flip our lid, that means that we no longer have access to our executive functioning, our logic, our reasoning, our communication. It's gone because emotion has bubbled over and taken over. And so that's what happens when a child tantrums, or when an adult tantrums, right? And we all recognize that. It may have happened with our child, but it may have also happened with an adult, where you recognize that a situation comes up and a person flips their lid, and then they're no longer present to discuss the situation, to kind of try and understand what was happening, or to resolve the situation. There's nobody there. Literally, there's nobody there. And that's what happens, right? We said the lid flips, or our prefrontal cortex is no longer accessible, and then there's nobody there to reason with. So when we, sometimes all of us fall prey to this, sometimes our child is tantruming and we don't recognize it in the moment, and we may try and kind of get our child out of it by saying, you know what, come on, I'll take you for a walk and we'll go see those wonderful flowers you wanted, or I'll give you a piece of chocolate, or maybe even I'll let you play on my phone, just so that they get quiet. And we recognize it doesn't even work. It's almost like it doesn't register. Nobody's there. Nobody can hear what I'm saying. It's because they have flipped their lid and there's no ability to communicate during a time like that.